Hey folks, this is Chris McLean, Peak Performance and Transformation Coach, back again with another episode of the Peak Performance and Predictable Growth Show, the Peak Performance Show for creative agency founders, owners, and leaders, where we explore the agency journey from the unique perspective of those at the coalface of the industry. My guests help us unlock and dissect strategies, tools, and tactics from the trenches that are working right now to help you deliver better results for your clients and grow and scale your agency beyond 6 and 7 figures. My guest in the studio here today is the amazing Oliver Duffy-Lee, who is an agency coach, and he helps startup agencies to find the clients of their dreams and scale their business to £20,000 per month. Oliver, welcome. Good to have you here.
Hey, Chris. Great to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
I love your background too, by the way. It's way cooler than mine. I'm gonna pick up my LED game.
Thanks, man. Well, when you shoot like loads and loads and loads of videos, you kind of got to invest in that stuff. So also my wife is a coach as well. She's an acting coach. So we share office and then studio space. And so, yeah, it's really handy for us.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, you're an agency coach.
Yes.
And we've had some sort of conversations prior to this. So sort of got a little bit of background of what you do and who you serve and how you help. I mean, kick us off with who do you help? What type of agency? Who tends to come to you? And sort of where do you start with agencies?
Yeah, so I think so we help startup agencies pretty much exclusively. And I think if you look at startup agencies, there's kind of two main problems that need to be solved. The first one is literally how do I kick off and how do I get clients on board? How do I grow up to 20K? Once you hit 20K, I think you have another problem, which is like, how do I scale this? So like, how do I get the right staff on board? How do I structure my business? How do I share the clients about what position do I have as an agency owner? And when I looked at those two problems, I was pretty convinced that the first one, getting to 20K, was the easier one to solve. And although those people probably don't have as much capital to invest in coaching and things like that, it just seemed like a really easy one to solve. And so that's what we do. We help people and agencies that are started up, probably doing less than £10,000. I don't know what that is in Aussie dollars.
It's about $400,000. No, with the conversion rate.
I don't know, like double or triple or something. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
So we help them from under 10K pounds, and then we help them scale, consistently up to 20K, basically.
Awesome. What does that tend to look like for agencies in terms of? I guess you're working with agencies all across the board in terms of pricing. Does that generally look like sort of high ticket? Is that 2 to 3 clients? Is that 20 clients? Is that so as you get into different service types, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think what we encourage everyone to do is get onto retainer model. Well, there's two key pieces I think you need in 2021 as an agency. I think you need retainer model. I think that's really, really important. Right. And I also think you need to be able to prove ROI in some way. So I'll give you an example. Agency that would struggle right now is content only, no ad side, and project based. That's a really hard agency to grow right now. So in terms of what like 20K looks like, it probably has, I don't know, you're probably doing retainers at maybe like anywhere between 1K a month to 5K a month, and then anywhere from like 10 to, could be like even as little as 4 clients making that 20K. So that's kind of what it looks like. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. It's just interesting to, obviously people are starting up like, well, 20K a month, that sounds like a lot, but when you break it down, it's somewhere between 2 and 4 clients a month. Depending on the size of the retainer, the type of business that they're going after.
The thing that's complicated, but just to go on that, the thing that's complicated about growth is like when you say you're doing less than 5K, your agency retainer is probably low. So it's probably about like 500 a month or something like that. And so one of the things we have to teach is you have to increase your pricing as you go. You can't, what got you to 5K or 10K is definitely not going to get you to 20. And that's probably the biggest thing we work on is like, how do you get people set in their mindset so they're okay and comfortable with charging higher fees?
And do you find that the higher fees relates to a different type of client, or are agencies capable of charging more money for the same types of clients that generally they would think that they'd have to charge less money for? You sort of think, top tier clients I've got to work with, high end brands to charge good money. Maybe talk on that. I think that can be quite interesting. Like who do I actually get to work with and charge good money for?
Yeah, I think there's a massive. I think a lot of agency owners are fishing in the wrong pond. To be clear, like some of them are just not going after big enough clients. Having said that, I think there's actually a lot of clients just make up in their own mind that their existing clients. A lot of agency owners make up in their own mind that their existing clients could never pay those fees when actually they could. And a big piece that is always missing here is how effective are you at communicating the real value of your service? And let me give you a hint. It's not about saying, well, that took us 5 hours, so we're going to charge you 5 hours, right? Yeah. It's about really looking at the total value of the service, the problem you're solving. I think pricing is a massive talking point right now.
Yeah, and that is that mindset, right? And that belief and that value of I am actually valuable enough to charge this kind of money. If you're getting that sort of mindset of, well, I'm worth 500 quid a month versus I'm worth 5,000 quid a month.
Exactly.
Exactly. Same client's probably willing to pay that money if you, as you said, having that ROI metric as well in what you're doing. That's probably one component. Clients want data. They want data-led decision making. They want to be able to say, well, I'm paying 5, but I've got 50 in revenue off the back of that. But even if they're not, sometimes I don't know if you see this, where clients, they're willing to pay for a value exchange, and that value exchange may not be monetary.
Yeah, I guess.
How do you see that?
What do you mean by that?
So when you look at a pure ROI, you look at, well, I've spent 5 and I get 50 on the back end, but what other metrics, I guess, do you see that in terms of positioning and value add? Where can agencies kind of leverage their other assets in terms of adding value to a client's business, where it's not purely a financial outcome?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. My answer would always be turn it into a financial outcome. But I suppose you're talking about things like you could save people time, you could help with convenience, you can help free them up so they can focus on other parts of the business, for sure. But in my mind, and by the way, I've been in sales for the last 8 years, so excuse me for that. But for me, I'm always turn this into a financial metric. Turn this into, if we're going to save you 6 hours a day or 6 hours a week or 20 hours a week, how much is that worth? How much are you going to turn that into at the end of the day? So I'm inclined to sort of say still focus on the money part.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what businesses understand, right? They understand that financial component.
Yeah, definitely.
But I like what you're saying there. It's important to have many ways to feed into a financial outcome. We're not just 100%. Saying, well, I'm going to run ads. You're going to give me $5,000 to run ads, and I'm going to guarantee you X dollars on the back end in terms of sales. It's not just that. You're not having to do this. You don't have to learn this. You don't have to invest time in doing this yourself. I'm going to save you time. I'm going to save you energy. I'm going to save you attention, all this other stuff that you can now put back into what you do best in your business. Let me take care of this part. So there's massive value in that, in offsetting a business owner's time and attention and energy to free them up.
100%. I mean, and from this is your area, right? So if you're a business owner and then a supplier comes along and says, right, I'm going to take this massive attention sucking thing off your plate, surely that's going to access different levels of performance and all sorts of other stuff, right, which can benefit you commercially.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's an interesting space for agency owners to start to understand that value exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, well, I'm helping you, right? I'm freeing up your time. I'm freeing up your energy and your attention, and it feels like maybe that's not that valuable. But when you actually understand that, well, if you don't have to spend 3 hours a day doing your marketing, and that's just handled, and there is
Exactly.
a financial ROI coming on that. But it's more that and you don't have to think about that. That's just managed now. Now you've got 3 hours every day that you can work on the front end of your business, that you can work on your sales engine, you can work on your delivery, your fulfillment systems, whatever your most important stuff is. You've now reduced the amount of stuff,
definitely
time that you're wasting. So I think it's incredibly valuable.
And if you take that, so if you're saying, as an agency owner, if you're like, okay, I can work on that value exchange, that has massive ramifications with how you deliver your service. So don't be another thing they have to worry about all the time. Don't be constantly checking in if you don't have to. Like, of course, give updates on projects and stuff like that, but just deliver consistent results quietly with no fuss, and really take that stuff off their plate. Because if you are still meaning that your client has to keep checking up on you, or isn't quite 100% trusting that you're delivering, you're not adding that value at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really sort of on a broader sort of industry perspective.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of conversations popping up now, because obviously there's been a massive explosion in digital. Everyone's come online, but it's also the barriers to entry to start up an SMMA agency or a digital agency. You can jump online, do a 20-minute Facebook ads course, and now I'm a digital marketing agency, right? I'm a digital marketer. I know this stuff, and I've launched my business, and off I go. I go get clients. But the number of times I see, particularly in Facebook groups, someone posting, I've got my first client. How do I run Facebook ads?
It's so true. We should do that. We should do like a weird challenge where we got to start an agency from scratch and see how quickly we can get our first client. It'd be great. It'd be a great little experiment. I bet it wouldn't take long, man.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to happen quite readily that you just kind of kick off and say, hey, I'm a Facebook ads expert, and you can land clients. But I guess the point I was getting to is that there's an important distinction, as you were saying, between actually being able to credibly deliver something and take that genuinely take that load off of a client, where you're actually confident that you're delivering on your promises. There seems probably the people that come to you are more expert. They're proper businesses right there. They're ready to go. How do you see that? Do that in the industry though, where there's a lot of sort of new players coming in that sort of maybe don't know what they're doing and can kind of taint the people that are properly trying to deliver proper service? Massively,
man. Like we I think about the start of December, turn of the year, we decided we had to be way more selective in the clients that we bring on, because I'm a believer the quality of your clients is the quality of your results, and that's the quality of your business. And the way we did that was we put a sort of low level, like a barrier on the amount of revenue you have to be making to work with us, right? That was our way of saying, right, you've got to be a serious agency to work with us. Once we did that, it was such a better experience for us and actually the group as a whole. And I think there is a massive problem right now. Like if you spend, in fact, this is probably how we connected, but if you spend like half an hour fishing around in a few digital agency owner Facebook groups, you'll see some funny stuff in there, man.
Yeah.
You'll see some funny stuff in there. And I'm kind of like, there's an argument there of like, why should an agency be good at marketing an agency if they're specializing in real estate, for example? But I think the wider point is, there's probably a few, I don't want to use the term cowboys, but there's probably a few people out there that are masquerading as agencies that maybe aren't proper at this stage.
Yeah, I think cowboy is probably not a bad description for it. It's probably pretty apt. Yeah, I was sort of having a similar conversation on the show yesterday, and it was there is a lot of that. I mean, obviously 2020 was a massive year for digital and exposure in digital, and say a lot of the laggard businesses that kind of had avoided digital up to this point have now come on board, whether that's through the e-com side of things, and sort of had to start up digital online stores and e-com stores, just because that's where the attention is.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you open the gates that way, so you do open up the competition grows. But I'm saying when you get the cowboys that maybe don't do things right, that sort of opens up this polarity, right? So now there's a polarity of people that aren't doing it right, and the people over here that can sort of say, look, this is what to watch out for, and this is how it's done right. So it sort of does, even though there's increased competition, it sort of opens up this opportunity to be the expert and be that differential voice to say, hey, watch out for this. This is where you need to be positioned.
Mate, I completely agree. I have no sympathy for an agency that's coming to me and saying, it's so hard. There's so many startups now. The competition's so fierce. I have no sympathy for that person because I think it's irrelevant. Like if you can get in front of if you know how to get in front of the right clients and you know how to talk to them in a way which you pinpoint their problem and you can explain exactly how you're going to solve them, you will always be fine. It doesn't matter how much competition, how many startup agencies there are out there. You'll always be fine because it's quite a niche skill. It's quite a hard skill to learn. So the problem is not the competition. The problem is the way you're talking to your clients. That's what I come down to always. And unfortunately, people are getting trapped in this sort of direct spamming thing, which is focusing purely on price. And that's a really terrible way to run a business and to get business, to be honest.
Yeah, and sort of going back to that Facebook group thing, you see a lot of that I will get you 5 leads for $20 a lead guaranteed or whatever.
Yeah. Who knows what that lead's going to be like? It could be anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there definitely has to be how do you help agencies kind of manage that and make sure that they are positioning themselves in the right way, but then also delivering the right level of service?
Yeah, I mean, look, I could answer that in over about 6 hours, so I'll keep it pretty clear.
Got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. The first thing you need is a proposition, and that's not like a value proposition necessarily. Like it's not like a statement which is like we help this without that whatever. It's literally like a proposition, which is like who are you helping? What problem do they have? And what problem do they solve? What do you solve? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I would say, generally speaking, there are 3 types of prospect. There's an unaware prospect who, frankly, everything is rosy for them. There's a problem-aware prospect who feel like they've got a headache and they feel like they've got a problem in their business, but they've got no idea how to solve it. And then there's a solution-aware prospect who basically is shopping. Now, most of the agency market are targeting solution-aware clients, and they're trying to find people who are already shopping. And there's 2 massive issues with that. One is the solution-aware clients make about 5% of the total. And the second one, probably bigger, is that they're only basing their selection on price. So you're competing with most of your competition for 5% of the total and competing on price. And that is where you get that thing where you just said, like, I'll get you 5 leads for £20 a pop, right? Yeah. So what we focus on is how to find and talk to problem-aware clients, because you talk to them in a way you can solve their problem for them, but they're not shopping. So once you have their attention, that sale becomes a lot easier. The price is it's not a comparative price conversation. The price is dealt with based on the value of the solution you've got. Yeah. And I think that really is the fundamental, but you can only do that once you know who you're targeting and what your proposition is.
Yeah, I think that's bang on. It all comes down to that value proposition. Yeah. So that's you think of that sort of as a funnel, and you've got your unaware up the front, your problem aware in the middle, and your 5% who are actually out there shopping. Like, well, you've got what 70-80% of the market that's sort of untapped. If you can position correctly to that audience.
Exactly, and if you could it's just about how you communicate. Like, can you communicate in a way which, first of all, can get them to express to you what their problem is? Because unless they express to you what their problem is, you can't solve anything. That's the first thing. And then how well can you communicate that you can solve that problem for them? It's really simple, man. Sales is so simple. When you get it, when you understand like what you're doing, and that's just problem solving, it starts to get really simple.
So in terms of, I've got my agency, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to start finding clients. what's your top recommendation in terms of channel outreach method? How would I go about going out and finding and starting to talk to my client? Is it through FB ads? Is it through organic? Is it through authority posting? What do you see working at the moment?
Yeah. So I think there's probably 3 ways agencies can win clients. There's probably about 4, but I don't usually talk about the 4th. So I would say organic is one, outreach is another one, and then paid is your 3rd. The 4th one I'm sort of skirting around is joint ventures or affiliates. Works really well for about 5% of agencies and doesn't work at all for 95% of them. So we'll skip over that. Yeah. Paid, I would say, if you're earning less than 10K a month, it can work for you, but I would never suggest it for under, because it just takes time. Like you'd be so lucky if you just nailed it first go or first month. So I think paid is something for 10K plus. So then you've got organic and outreach. And frankly, I think it's a nice combo of both. What I would say when it comes to organic is so much more than just posting and hoping. It's not about just like posting every day and just waiting for people to come and knock at your door. It just doesn't work like that. You've got to work harder to sort of create things which make people put their hand up and say, look, I want that. Can you send it to me? So instead of, say you're a Facebook ads agency for e-com clients, instead of saying, here's a video of how to double your CRO or increase your conversions by whatever, say, I just made a video which shows you the 3 things you have to do to increase your CRO. Do you want it? And then people say, yeah, of course I want it. And then you're in a chat with them. I think that's a great way to sell. And then outreach. I mean, outreach is amazing if it's done well. When I say outreach, I don't mean like spamming the hell out of people. I mean, really targeted. If you can afford, if you have the time, basically, if you don't have kids, then make it personalized. Loom videos, I think, are a great way to do personalized outreach right now. And you can't there's probably like loads of other things like email scraping and stuff like that. I just don't think it's needed. And the thing about the email scraping and data and things like that in Europe, I was about to say the EU, but we messed that up in the UK. You've got this massive like data restrictions and data rules, like it's just not really allowed. So I don't really recommend that stuff either. So it's a nice combo of organic and outreach, I would say.
Yeah. And so that sort of sets you up as authority, expertise.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like what you're saying there. If you can get people to essentially opt in and give like a soft yes and say, look, I'm interested in that. Yeah. You've already got a micro commitment in there.
Yeah,
then more likely to take action on it.
I would say if there's any agency owners that are have a decent-ish LinkedIn network on the go already, if they do this right now, if they just create a poll on LinkedIn, polls on LinkedIn right now are just absolutely everywhere. I think LinkedIn algorithm is pushing them. Put a poll out saying, at my target customer, what's your biggest challenge right now? And then put challenge 1, 2, 3. Make sure they're all challenges you can solve. Run it for a week. Leads straight away. I think that's if you want a tactical thing to do right now, do a LinkedIn poll and you'll get leads.
Nice. I like that. Might try that for myself later stuff.
Nice.
I like that. That's what we like strategic, tactical stuff that you can actually go and implement right now and start getting clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Really good stuff. Now as you're working with agency owners, you're clearly on the cutting edge of stuff. You know what's happening, whether you sort of see where the industry is moving. What is in store in agency world, in client world in 2021? How do you see sort of where are we going off the back of last year? Where are things shifting to? Maybe what are some challenges coming up? What do people need to look out for? And then on the other side, what opportunities are out there right now?
So I think if I could split all agencies into 2, so there's ROI-based agencies that are saying, look, we can put you this, you spend this with us, we'll give you this. Then there's the other side, and I say this cautiously because agencies hate it when I say this, but I'd say vanity services. So video content, design, social media content without ads implementation, that sort of thing. And I think at the moment, the vanity side of the business are trying to work things out. And what I'm seeing with the really forward-thinking ones of them, the ones that have looked at it and say, I don't want to get into that ad stuff. Like, I don't want to get into that ROI stuff. They're being really smart and they're switching to a subscription model. So you've got video production companies running on subscription model. You've got design agencies running on subscription model. And this is really, really smart because it's basically finding clients that have accepted, they're sort of forward thinking, they've accepted we need content on tap every single month. And frankly, if you do, especially on LinkedIn, this is great, right? If your organic content is good, it will work just as well as paid media on other platforms because there's so many LinkedIn lurkers and there's so few producers. So if your LinkedIn content is half good, it's worth investing in. So I think one of the big opportunities for, I would say, the vanity services side of the business is look carefully, how can you package your stuff in a subscription area, in a subscription model? Because I've spoken to probably up to 10 agencies now that have switched to that recently. And they are the ones that are really, really looking good. And you know what it solves? Like you know this, having been an agency owner yourself, like you want to know, doesn't matter if you strike out and you don't make any sales one month, you want to know that next month you're getting paid. And that subscription model will do that for you. So I think big opportunity, design agencies, content agencies, video agencies, if you're not going to dive into the ROI side, the ad side of things, look carefully at a subscription model.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. And people understand subscription. It's sort of easy to get into and say, I'll sign up for that. And
I like it's the sort of thing like 5 years ago, people would have laughed you out of sight, right? But nowadays we're so used to adding subscriptions into our life. That's how we buy stuff now. Like everything's on subscription. So it just makes sense that your content should be as well. Yeah.
And you said it gives you that pipeline as well. You know that if you've got that sort of guaranteed cash flow.
Yeah.
I know.
And I just want to clarify, actually, Dan, I'm just saying that I'm not talking about like social media management companies that do a bit of content. I'm talking about creators only, like really high quality creators that don't care about how you post their stuff. They're just going to give you a certain amount of stuff each month. That's what I want, because it means as a video producer, for example, or a videographer, you don't have to get involved in content calendars. You don't have to get involved in ads. You just create great content every month. I think it's a really nice idea.
Yeah, no, awesome. Really, really nice. Amazing value there. So a lot of tactical stuff. There's a lot to tease out of that. If you are an agency owner and you're just getting started, there's a lot you can pull out of sort of what Oliver's covered here today. I think there's a lot of stuff you can take, right? Make sure you get some notes down and take action on this stuff, because you sort of definitely know you're seeing what's out there, and you're sort of talking to a lot of agencies, and you're in the industry, so you're really understanding what's happening out there. I really like that subscription model too.
Nice. If
people do want to find out more about you, come work with you, to check you out and see what you're up to, where's the best place for them to find?
You nailed it all here. I think LinkedIn's where I spend most of my day. So probably LinkedIn, but yeah, all of those things are great. The website's got some nice trading on it as well. So if you don't want to necessarily reach out to me, but you want to get some value, go check out the website. Some nice trading on there. But yeah, just basically anything with Oliver Duffy-Lee at the end, because I don't think there's anyone else in the world with that name.
Wow, so, you've done well. Well.
I can thank my wife, because I used to be Oliver Lee and I stole her name, her surname.
Right. Nice.
Create something new.
Yeah, good for your social handles. I can rarely get Chris McLean. There's too many of me out there.
There's only one of you, man.
Yeah, only one of me. But I tried the Chris McLean, and even that's taken on some.
Really?
Places.
Oh man, you got to find him.
I got to change something. Take a hyphenate or something there.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I appreciate your time, mate. So what's next for you? Where you sort of what's on for 2021?
Well, just pushing on, man. Just pushing on with Launchpad, pushing on with World Products, which is the e-com agency that I work with. And really exciting coming up is you're coming to speak to our Launchpad group in a couple of weeks, all about mindset and things like that. Frankly, the reason I'm excited about that is because I'm super weak on that area. I've never really trained myself in that area. Yep. So I'm looking forward to hearing you come and add some value to our guys.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I say bright and early, 7 a.m. That's fine. get a few coffees in and get
Probably
at it.
Don't pretend that you don't wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I know you.
Around then, yeah. It's getting cold now, though. So it's
Oh, really?
I know I'm saying cold speaking to you in the middle of the
Yeah.
It's relative. It's relatively starting to our summer's disappeared and we're dropping off into whatever's next. But the cold shower was a little crisper this morning. So
God, you cold showering every morning? Oh man.
Yeah, most mornings. Yeah, just to perk up and enliven the spirit.
I'm going to try it tomorrow morning. I'm going to do it.
That'd be nice for you. What is it? About 5 degrees, 10 degrees?
Yeah, it's about that. But so how long? I know you want to end, but how long should the cold shower be? Like a minute?
Yeah, look, depends if you're getting started. As long as you can handle, might be 30 seconds. But ideally, anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 minutes is a good exposure time.
Oh my God! Wow.
But so number one tip for getting started is have your normal hot shower first.
Okay.
And then at the end of the shower, switch into cold and do kind of as long as you can. And it might be 10 seconds, it might be 30 seconds to get going. But ideally, sort of that 2 to 3 minutes is a good exposure time just to kick off all the internal systems and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to give it a go. I like it.
Yeah. It does take a bit of time to acclimatize. Or the other way is to do a workout, sort of coming off being warm and then go straight into cold. But alternating hot cold is really nice as well. So hot, turn it cold, go back to hot again, go back to cold. So lots of different ways you can do it. But yeah, let me know how you go.
I'll let you know how I go on, man. Jeez,
it's good stuff. It's especially first thing in the morning. It enlivens and perks you up and gets you going for the day.
Wow. Okay. Might maybe go back to bed, I think. But yeah, okay. I'll let you know.
Yeah, probably won't be going back to bed after that. It'll certainly perk you up. It's better than coffee in the morning.
Fair. Nice.
Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
It's been great.
Catching up with you in a couple of weeks. Come over your side of the pond and jump in and speak to your guys over there. But thanks for today. Thanks for coming on and thanks for dropping all the value that you did. As I said, there's a lot of value in there for people that kind of want to tease out a lot of the stuff and take some action and get their agencies up to that 20K pound a month mark. Yeah. People know where to find you. They can come and jump on, find you. And that's going to be a wrap for the show today. Thanks, Oliver, for being here. Thanks for tuning in at home. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for being here. See you again soon.
See you later.